Welcome students. In today's lecture, we will start the explanation of the essay, The Spectator's Account of Himself, written by Joseph Addison. Spectator means observer, okay? So this Mr. Spectator, who is supposed author of the essay, was a member of a club called the Spectator Club, okay? So see, in Joseph Addison's time, the culture of coffee houses and clubs was really very popular, and at these clubs people would meet for conversation only, okay? And there were different kinds of clubs, and some of them were resorts of particular professions, like if one was for politicians, the other was for the scientists, etc., okay? But in this Spectator Club there were people from different professions, and Mr. Spectator, who is the supposed author of this essay, was also a member of this Spectator Club, okay? And here in this essay, Mr. Spectator gives detailed information about himself to his reader. And there were some other members too, like Sir Roger de Coverley, Sir Andrew Freeport, Captain Sentry, Will Honeycomb, etc. And all these members were from different professions. And there were two others, a lawyer and a clergyman, who, like Mr. Spectator, retained their anonymity, okay? That means their name is not known. That is why we are calling him Mr. Spectator, okay? Now, Mr. Spectator says that I have observed that a reader seldom peruses a book with pleasure till he knows whether the writer of the book of it be a black or fair man, a mild or choleric disposition, married or a bachelor, with other particulars of the like nature that conduce very much to the right understanding of an author. Now, Mr. Spectator says that the reader rarely reads a book. Seldom means rarely, okay? Peruses means reading thoroughly, okay? He says that a reader rarely reads a book thoroughly with pleasure if he does not know about the writer of the book, because a reader always wants to know about the writer of the book, and if he does not know about the writer, he will never enjoy the book written by that writer till he knows whether the writer of it be a black man or a fair man, of a mild or a choleric disposition. So reader is always interested in the personality of the writer, and reader is always curious about the disposition of the writer. He wants to know whether the writer of the book is a black man or a fair man. He is also interested in writer's nature, that whether he has a mild nature or he is bad tempered. That means the one who gets angry, okay? Choleric means the one who gets angry, okay? He also wants to know whether the writer is married or a bachelor, and so many other things of the same nature that conduce very much to the right understanding of an author. In short, the reader wants to know all about the writer, and all these things helps the reader to have a better understanding about the author. Why reader wants to know about the writer? Because that way he will be able to get a better understanding about the writer, okay? To gratify this curiosity, which is so natural to a reader, I designed this paper and my next as a prefatory discourse to my following writings, and shall give some account of them of several persons that are engaged in this work. Next, he says that to satisfy this curiosity, gratify means to satisfy this curiosity of the reader, which is so natural and obvious to a reader, he has written this paper or this essay, okay? That means in this essay, he is going to tell the reader all about himself to satisfy his curiosity about the writer of this essay, okay? I designed this paper and my next as prefatory discourse to my following writings. He says that I planned this essay and my next essay as a prefatory discourse. Prefatory discourse means as an introductory paper, okay, to my next papers, and shall give some account in them of several persons that are engaged in his work. Okay, I will also, he says that I will also give some description about several persons who are engaged in this work. Now here Mr. Spectator is talking about the other members of the spectator club. Okay, as I have already told you that there were some other members of this spectator club, so he says that I will also provide information about these other members of the spectator club. Okay, as the chief trouble of compiling, digesting, and correcting will fall to my share, I must do myself the justice to open the work with my own history. Now he says that as the chief trouble of collecting information from them and then to understand that new information, digesting means to understand. Digesting means to understand that new information from those other members. Okay, and then to correct this information is going to be my work. Okay, that means he is going to do this hard work of collecting information about the other members and then to share this information with the reader. So for the convenience, he is going to start with his own history. Here he says that I must do myself the justice to open the work with my own history. So for convenience, he is going to start with his own history. Now he is going to give his own history to his readers. He says that I was born to a small hereditary estate which according to the tradition of the village where it lies was bounded by the same hedges and ditches in William the Conqueror's time that it is at present, and has been delivered down from father to son, whole and entire, without the loss or acquisition of a single field or meadow during the space of 600 years. Now, he says that he was born to a small hereditary state. He was born to a small hereditary state. Hereditary means that is passed from generation to generation. Okay, and estate means property. So he says that I was born to a small hereditary property, and according to the tradition of the village, this property was bounded by hedge. Hedge means fence, or in Hindi you can say bard. Okay, so it was bounded by hedge and ditches. Ditches is narrow hole that are dug into the ground along the side of a field. Okay, so it was bounded by hedge and ditches according to the tradition of the village. By the same hedge and ditches, William the Conqueror's time that it is at present, and it was bounded in the same manner as it was in the time of William the Conqueror. Who was William the Conqueror? He invaded England in the 11th century. So, Mr. Spectator wants to say that the property was bounded in the same manner as it was in the 11th century. Okay, has been delivered down from father to son, whole and entire, without the loss or acquisition of a single field or meadow during the space of 600 years. Now he says that this property has been delivered down from father to son as it is. Okay, that means it was delivered from generation to generation without any loss or any acquisition. Acquisition means to obtain or to add something, okay, of a single field or a meadow. He says that during the last 600 years there was no loss or any acquisition of a single field or a meadow to the property. There runs a story in the family that sometime before my birth, my mother dreamed that her child was to be a judge. Next, he says that there runs a story in his family that before he was born, his mother dreamed that her child was to be a judge. Whether this might proceed from a lawsuit which was then depending in the family, or my father's being a justice of peace, I cannot determine. Now he says that I cannot tell the exact reason behind my mother's dream, but there are two possibilities. Okay, first is that at that time a law case was pending in the court of our family. Okay, and second possibility was that my father was a justice of peace. So these were the two possibilities behind his mother's dream about her child being a judge, but he says that he is not sure about it. Okay, for I am not so vain as to think it presaged any dignity that I should arrive at in my future life, though that was the interpretation which the neighborhood put upon it. He says that he is not a useless person to think. I'm not so vain. Vain means someone who is useless. Okay, I'm not so useless to think his mother's dream to be a sign of any dignity in his future life. Presaged means to be a sign of any dignity in his future life. That means he is not a useless person, and he is not going to believe on his mother's dream, and he is not hoping to get a dignified position of a judge in his future life. Thou, that was the interpretation which the neighborhood put upon it. But this was interpreted by my neighbors, okay, because they totally believed that my mother's dream was going to be true. The gravity of my behavior at my very first appearance in the world and afterwards seemed to favor my mother's dream. Next, he says that the gravity means seriousness of the behavior. So he says that the seriousness of my behavior is in my infancy. Infancy means the early childhood. Okay, in his early childhood and after that seemed to be in favor of my mother's dream. For, as she has often told me, I threw away my rattle before I was 2 months old and would not make use of my coral till they had taken away the bells from it. He says, because my mother used to tell me that I threw my rattle toy. Rattle means in Hindi you can say jhunjhuna. Okay. He says that my mother used to tell me that I threw my rattle toy before I was 2 months old. That means he stopped playing with his rattle toys before he was 2 months old. Okay. And I would not make use of my coral till they had taken away the bells from it. And he would not use his coral. Coral is a kind of tether for babies, okay? Baby tether in which they used coral and bells, okay? So he says that he would not use his coral till they remove the bells from his tether, okay? So he behaved in this manner because he had a serious disposition. Okay, writer says that he behaved in this manner just because he had a very serious disposition. So now here ends the incidents from his infancy. That means the time when he was a very young child. Okay. Now, as for the rest of my infancy, there being nothing in it remarkable, I shall pass it over in silence. Now he says that spectator tells his reader that there was nothing else worth mentioning in the rest of his early childhood, so I will not talk about it anymore. Next he says that I find that during my nonage I had the reputation of a very sullen youth, but was always a favorite of my schoolmaster, who used to say that my parts were solid and would wear well. Now next he says that as far as my period of youth is concerned, I had a reputation of a very sullen. Sullen means someone who is very gloomy and silent. Okay, so he had a reputation of a very sullen youth, and he was always a favorite of his schoolmaster. And his schoolmaster used to say that his parts were really solid and his parts were really strong, and he would live really well. Okay, that is what his schoolmaster used to say. I had not been long at the university before I distinguished myself by a most profound silence. Mr. Spectator says that as soon as I entered the university, he got a reputation of most deep silent person. That means he never talked too much. For during the space of 8 years, excepting in the public exercises of the college, I scarce uttered the quantity of 100 words, and indeed do not remember that I ever spoke 3 sentences together in my whole life. So he says that during the period of 8 years at the university, except in the public activities of the college, I rarely spoke the quantity of 100 words. That means he only spoke at the public activities of the college, and apart from that he only spoke 100 words in total. And I do not remember that I ever spoke three sentences together in my whole life. He also says that he does not remember that he ever spoke three sentences together in his whole life. That means he was a very reserved person and he never liked to talk too much. Okay. While I was in this learned body, I applied myself with so much diligence to my studies, and that there are very few celebrated books, either in the learned or modern languages, tongues, which I am not acquainted with. Now, Mr. Spectator says that because I was a very scholarly person, because he was a very scholarly person, he used himself with so much hard work to his studies. He spent too much time and energy in study, and because he was a very studious person, that is the reason that there are very few famous books in any languages which he is not familiar with. That means he was a very studious person, and that is why he was familiar with most of the famous books. Okay. Upon the death of my father, I was resolved to travel into foreign countries, and therefore left the university with the character of an old, unaccountable fellow that had a great deal of learning if I would but show it. Now he says that upon the death of his father, he decided to travel the foreign countries, and therefore he left the university. And he had a character of a very strange person whose character you cannot explain. Unaccountable means a character that you cannot explain. That means by nature he was really very weird. Okay. That had a great deal of learning if I would but show it. But he was a very learned person if only he would have shown it to others. That means he never showed his learned behavior to any other person. Okay. An insatiable thirst after knowledge carried me into all the countries of Europe in which there was anything new or strange to be seen. Now he tells us that he had an unsatisfied thirst for the knowledge, and that was the reason that he decided to take a tour of the European countries. And to gain more and more knowledge, he decided to take a tour of European countries in which there was anything new or strange to be seen. Nay, to such a degree was my curiosity raised that, having read the controversies of some great men concerning the antiquities of Egypt, I made a voyage to Grand Cairo on purpose to take the measures of a pyramid, and as soon as I had set myself right in that particular, returned to my native country with great satisfaction. So he says that he had a very high level of curiosity. Okay. And that once having read about the controversy of some great man about the monuments of the Egypt, antiquities means some monuments of the Egypt, he made a voyage to Grand Cairo to take measurements of a pyramid. That means he was very curious about everything, and once he heard about some controversy regarding monuments of the Egypt, for that he himself made a sea journey, just to take measure of a pyramid at Grand Cairo. Voyage means sea journey. Okay. So he himself made a sea journey just to take measurement of a pyramid at Grand Cairo. Okay. I had set myself right in that particular, return to my native country with great satisfaction. As he and he says that he returned to his own native country only after he had satisfied himself with this matter. So that was the level of curiosity in the author. So that is all for today's lecture. We will continue our essay in our next video. Thank you.